Hey punters, welcome to another episode of Tipster. As we come into the spring carnival, we're getting very close. Mick, Gannon to my right.
Spring's in the air, the rain, well, it's gone. It was here though, wasn't it? Gee whiz, did not miss us. And the good horses are back. Missile Stakes this week, so it'll be good. Wing Stakes not too far away. We saw the Ori Star down there at Flemington. It was a good win by King of Rousseau. So, yep, spring well and truly in the air, and the good horses are back.
Yeah, when I hear that word Missile Stakes, I know it's time to party, Mick. I don't know, that's my little trigger. The Wing Stakes, which got renamed not so long ago, it's ready to motor.
Love it.
Hey, just thinking about it, we have had a bit of rain, Mick, and obviously punters are probably going to deal with this a fair bit in spring. Any advice you could give just off the top of your head? I haven't prepared you at all for this.
No.
So really looking at the top of your head. I mean, how do you approach wet tracks? Stay away, or do you see opportunities there? And if so, how do you approach them?
Yeah, it's hard. It's extremely difficult because how the track plays is probably the biggest variance there. As you know what you got in front of you when it got to the form guide and the races and the jockeys aboard. But when you get to the race day and you can't make up ground, Rosehill Gardens on Saturday might be an example. Then you're completely up against it. So my advice to you would be, more importantly, rain on race day, just stake all the way down. We all love having a bet, and that's okay. But let's say if you're a $10 punter, just have $1 on. Keep the other $9 for next week.
Or for dry tracks, right? Or focus on, say, if it's Melbourne and they're dry.
Or you could pivot. Maybe if you're that way inclined,
do something else.
Yeah, but then in saying that, for a lot of people, if you are just betting in Sydney, just get the powder dry for the week after.
There we go. We're talking about discipline from Mick Gannon here. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, while we're on that point, let's ask the punters. So, punters, if you can go here on YouTube and just write down how you approach wet tracks, do you sort of do what Mick just said? Have you got another approach? I'm sure there's some of you out there who actually see it as an opportunity. Tell us what you do. The most interesting story, we're going to actually use it for an article. We're going to pay $100 for that, Mick.
Yeah.
So there we go, $100 cold hard cash to the most interesting view. Obviously, we'll need to
One greenbacker.
We'll need to follow you up and get a bit more info. That won't take too long. So nice way to earn $100. I'm pretty sure that's tax-free. What do you reckon, Mick? I think so. We'll give you the 100. You can worry about that for your tax
Sounds
return.
like an M issue.
Absolutely. But don't forget, here on the YouTube channel, give us your view. So, hey, this, as usual, a good time to be watching this show coming into spring, Mick. We're obviously going to tell you who shot the lights out in July. And that's media tipsters, experts, putting them together as we usually do. But of course, probably even more valuable is we'll hand select some tipsters who have done very well. They're going to give you their early mail for the weekend.
Awesome.
And that's valuable, right? Why is it valuable, Mick, to get it really, really early?
Because they're low flying and you get the good prices before the prices disappear. Now, just to give the listeners who they might be thinking, racking their brains, and I didn't really give them a whole lot, didn't really give them a lead there on the the heavy track stuff, but race fit horses, Damo, that's important.
Here we go.
I'll give you another one. Jason Collett is one of the best jockeys, profit on turnover on soft fives through to heavy, or soft sixes through to heavy tracks. So something to consider there, your jockey choice.
That brings in a few factors, Mick.
Couple there. It's probably another 10, but we'll leave it to the listeners to see what they can come up with.
Intriguing stuff, and we're very interested in what your view is. So don't forget, here on YouTube, put your view down there. That we'll select the best for a article, $100 in your hands. Stick around. Here comes the show.
Tipster of the month, Damo. Overall, this is a leaderboard. Not just the professionals, not just the punters. No media on this list at all for the month of July, but it's a very, very impressive list nonetheless. Danzak, the punter logo there, won't be long until he's got the pro symbol. 118% profit on turnover. Wowee.
Yeah, $15.24 average price. Always look at that. That's exciting for punters because they love to get those value runners. This guy's obviously very, very focused on that. He's Victorian based, and look, he's not just backing, long shot opportunities. He's also taking shorter ones that clearly he's looking for value.
Yep.
He did get a fairly decent roughie in this one. He got an $80 pop in.
That'll do.
That helps, but look, it certainly wouldn't have just.
What do you do when you tip an $80 pop? Do you just like, we'll just, we'll keep it close here, we'll just hold on for dear life, or do you just?
Do you want my answer?
Yeah.
Anyone in a 5 kilometre radius would know that I've just tipped an $80 pop.
Yeah, fair point.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not
Anyone and if they're not, I'll be ringing it.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. So, needless to say, I haven't been ringing anyone.
No.
In recent days.
Phone's been quiet.
Actually, it's an interesting question for the punters. I mean, what's the longest shot you've ever backed? What's yours, Mick?
I can tell you, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think I've got above $50.
You too.
I don't think I've got. I can think of a couple in the $30 to $40 pop some time ago.
I had something on the Melbourne Cup.
Range.
The Melbourne Cup winner last year, but it was about 8 bets in the race, so I'm not sure if that counts. But
Well, I had 24 and I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
23, you still lost. Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah, I'd say around the $80 mark, but look, they're few and far between, and to be completely honest, I don't think I have many bets on many horses over about 30 to 1 anyway, as a rule. So in second there, Jet 17. Is it Jet 17? No, it's Jet 117.
Jet 117.
Gee, they get you good with these usernames though. They bet that he's been titting up a storm, 115% profit on turnover, Damon.
Yeah, well, look, SA punter. But look, basically focuses in Victoria and New South Wales.
Yeah, he's got to avoid that pot.
Yeah, well, I think it's where he lives, so and it doesn't bother him anyhow, right? It's the bookies who are paying it. But yeah, loves his value chances, and look, he's got the pro symbol, so you can definitely be assured it's not a flash in the pan job. That's what that pro symbol's about for punters, just in case you wondered. He's got a level of consistency.
We do take bribes as well. If you want to send in, if you want the pro symbol, just send cashies.
Yeah, I think
I do. Damo does it.
Yeah. Yeah, no comment. But look, $13.41 again. That's a pretty exciting number to have as your average price off 50. So that's not just a few. You've got to watch it, right? Obviously, if you haven't got many tips, that number can be a bit distorted. But at 50 tips, certainly at $13.41, this guy knows how to find value.
Adam 26 squeeze in there with 40 tips, 108% profit on turnover, $13.85 there. In fourth, Axel. 1988, what a year that was. Could have been 34.
Thanks, mate. No answer. Of course, the punters can see how fresh-faced I am, so I'll make absolutely no comment. Look, yeah, another one who finds value. 5 of those winners were over $5, so he's obviously finding them at shorter prices, but can find them at value. I like that when I'm following someone. They're not just sort of looking for the short price runners. They're not. We've got a few blokes who do very, very well on the site, and they're always looking for things sort of big double digits, and that can sometimes mean you've got to wait a bit longer, even though they're quite successful. But these guys here, at least you're getting your winners in a decent time frame, and obviously he's making money. I mean, 98% profit on turnover is. Sometimes you can show you these figures opposed to go, yeah, whatever, but that's like absolutely off the chart. I mean, 20%'s off the chart. 10%
just take 3.
I'll take 3. I'll take 1. I'll take anything in the black.
Last month I would have taken -5.
There we go. So, these numbers are pretty significant.
How are we going with this? Well, Harrow Walton, I'll kick off, and we'll do our best. You could turn into something else.
That linguist you hired is really kicking in now, right?
Yeah. Billy Birmingham has been working his wonders.
There we go. Absolutely. I might get an impression off yourself on another show.
90% profit on turnover is old Walton, and with the pro symbol as well.
Queenslander. Geez, we're going around the country.
I know about that.
Really? Queenslander. We've got a Queenslander here, Harrow Walton, 4 winning weeks in a row. So that basically means right through July, he's gone win week 1, win week 2, 3 and 4. Some nice long shots in this one as well. But you can see from his average price that he's certainly, tipping him a short price. What I like in there too, Mick, is 16 winners.
Yeah.
That's...
I've never seen a leaderboard like this. I think this has to be the most impressive leaderboard we've seen in the three or so years.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
There's some months you can win with 40%.
Absolutely.
And I hate to see what 6 or 10 is. They've probably been hard done by. But anyway, bad luck. Well done. We salute you. The top 5 tipster of the month for July. Tipster of the Month, Media Edition here. Damo, the leaderboard for July, and Mark McNamara are on top from Sky Racing. This is more like a 43% profit on turnover. I feel more comfortable on these.
Yeah. Well, look, as you said in the last section, Mick, that, they were off the chart. So 43%, it's still off the charts,
Yeah,
really.
it still is.
So, Mark should be very proud of himself. Obviously, focus on Hong Kong racing, as we know. And look, he's tipped 14 winners over the month. At an average price of $5. Wow, I'll take that.
How many meetings a month? 8?
Well,
Maybe
I
9.
think he's doing the weekend stuff. So, he's probably four meetings there, just looking at the number of tips. So I think we've got Tom
there you go.
in the midweek stuff at Happy Valley.
That's some effort.
But look, hey, if you checked in with me at the end of August and I've had that sort of record, I'm happy. And we're not doing that, and that probably underlies why Mark's more than just a core of races. So there we go.
Damien Courtney there from Sky Racing again. A bit of a theme there. The Sky Racing family on fire. 42% profit on turnover.
Yeah, and look, 3 winning weeks in a row, so another one showing consistency. Good mate of Chargy, Damien Courtney. So they sort of
Shout out Chargy.
Well, they sort of share the microphone a bit there when they do those Queensland meetings. Chargy's been coming off a pretty good stint himself, but clearly, like this whole thing, Mick, you see enough races, you get to know the horses, and you become a better judge. I think Damien's performance in July is testament to that.
Yep, certainly is. Jared Russell there finds himself in third with 37% profit on turnover from 64 tips.
Yeah, before just jumping on Jared, I think one thing we should note, Sky Racing, give yourself a round of applause. 4 out of the 5 top media.
Everyone else needs to lift.
Well, and
Where's Luke?
he's not a Sky Racing cop. Oh, yeah, he's not there.
It tips to the mark.
No GTO tips.
I keep hearing how he's flying.
No GTO.
It's not didn't even make the media list.
Well, 26 was the lower bar there. But so that's interesting. But obviously with Jared, he calls everything.
Yeah.
He calls racing, calls greys, calls half.
Flies up walls.
Mate, he sounds like, seriously, Superman there, because he also gets 37% pot on the GGs. You've got to be happy with that. Pretty good judge, pretty good form judge. Has a bit of a fan base on the old social media too. I mean, when this gets posted, I am sure you'll get a few comments on this, at least on X, if not Facebook as well.
The artist formerly known as Tweeter. Colin Hodges there makes his way into 4th there for Sky Racing. We love Cole.
You know what? Where were you 50 years ago, Mick? Were you born?
No.
Okay. Well, there we go. We know Mick's sub 50 for all the fans out there. But you know what Cole was doing 50 years ago?
Calling races.
Calling races. He was debuting. I can't tell you much more than that he was debuting. But 50 years of service. And you've got to think experience matters.
Certainly does.
He pulls out that effort. He pulls out that effort. 17 winners. And 5 of those came at Warren a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
How's that?
Where is Warren?
Warren is in it's in country New South Wales.
That's good.
That's as far as I go.
That's pretty good. Greg Hooper makes his way into the top 5. He's done well. 26% profit on turnover, 51 tips, 13 winners, at an average price of $4.96. We'll round that up for you, Greg, and say $5.
In the Deep West, 4 winning weeks in a row. You're going to be happy with that. That's a pretty good performance. I head over to the viewers. Anyone who knows where Warren is, and better still, if you've been to the track and tell us a bit about it, stick it on.
Way out west. Warren, surely.
Yeah, it's somewhere out there, Mick.
Yeah, love it. Yeah. There you go. Tips of the month, media edition for July.
This is touted as one of the valuable sections of the program, and of course, it's where we give you early mail, free tips from tipsters who have had a very strong July. Now, they may not have been on those lists. Remember, those lists were had a pretty high mark to enter. So we've sort of looked a bit outside those as well. And here they are, some of the best performing tipsters in July with free tips for you. One of those winning tipsters is from Racing and Sports. And you want to talk about experience? This guy's got plenty of it and plenty of form on the board. Who you got for us, Chris Scholtz?
Good morning. It's a pleasure to join you on the Great Tip-Off to bring you some insights into the way that I go about looking at form, and hopefully we can find a winner or two for you at Raumick on Saturday, bearing in mind of the very heavy conditions that we're going to have to deal with at Raumick. But quickly, just to backtrack over my career in the racing media over some 50 years, Started way back in the early 1970s with the Daily Telegraph. Worked with News Limited for well on 20 years. Went on to write feature columns for the Sporting Globe, great racing newspaper, and the Sportsman. Long radio stints with Sport 927 and Tote Tasmania. Through the 80s, I became involved with Don Scott and Warren Block and Gary Crisp, the godfathers of ratings methodology here in Australia. And with them, we launched the Wizard Form Guide in the late 1980s. And out of the Wizard evolved Racing and Sports, which I was pleased to be invited to be part of the founding of that with Gary Crisp and Robert Vilkaitis back in 2000 as it was. So some 25 years ago we launched Racing and Sports, and I was the racing editor there for well over 20 years until taking a backward step from all my media commitments and concentrating more on just trying to back a winner and take life easy up here on the Gold Coast in retirement. As it is, the boys have asked me to just touch on what I look for in form analysis. There's a couple of key strategies that I'd certainly emphasise to you. Firstly, I think in this modern era now with the advances in technology, I think it's essential that you have access to a very reliable and accurate ratings database. A lot of ratings services have evolved over the years. A lot of it is still really goes back to what Don Scott and Warren Block and Gary really laid the foundation of weight and class ratings here in Australia way back in the early 80s, in the late 70s. And if you follow their methodology, you'll see that most ratings analysis these days is still based on their principles. And there has been a shift, obviously, in more recent times towards time ratings, a lot of sectional analysis, and that's great because technology's brought us into that era. And I just do feel though that a lot of the younger form analysts just place a little bit too much emphasis on times and sectionals as opposed to the real core of ratings, which is weight and class. So something just to keep in mind when you're looking at ratings and how to analyse them. If you go through and can learn how to actually do your own ratings, it's a great asset. But it's time consuming, I'll admit that, but it certainly is something that enlightens your insights into racing and form. Race replays are all important. I think what you see in analysing and going over replays tells you a lot more than reading a form guide. So I think it's essential that you spend time on replays, going over races that can be key to finding a winner. Barrier trials come into this scenario too now, and particularly now that barrier trials are such a key part of the way trainers prepare their horses. We've got access to all the replays of barrier trials these days. Please spend your time looking at barrier trials because they can lead you. They can be a great source of good priced winners. Just spending your time though, you need time. It's time consuming again, but going over replays at barrier trials can be very enlightening and very profitable. And finally, I think it just comes down to race day conditions, and changing race day conditions is all important. When you get to the actual day of the races, you can do your form and you can have it all mapped out and think that you're on the right track towards winners. And then you'll find that there's a big shift in conditions, whether it be the track ratings or the weather conditions. You've got to be adaptable. And as we've seen in Sydney in recent weeks, the conditions on race days have been far different, some far worse than what we've anticipated. And for that reason, I think you've got to be adaptable to what occurs on the day. I think in a lot of cases, particularly in this recent times, it's probably advisable just to shut up shop and forget about trying to chase a winner because the conditions just have been far different to what we've all anticipated on the day. So you've got to be adaptable to that, and watching early races, just taking into consideration any on-pace bias, if we want to call that word bias, whether horses can come from back off the speed, can get wide and run on. I think it's all that you've got to sort of like watch through the day and analyse as you go on. Finally, a couple of winners at Raumick. Again, it's going to be very heavy. The 150 mil of rain in a week ago, and another top up of rain on Wednesday into Thursday. Rated a heavy 9 as we record this on a Thursday, 48 hours out. Just 2 horses I think that will run very well. A race 3, number 5, Bereska, a very good run in Brisbane last start, caught wide. Took ground off the Very Smart Without Parallel, and that horse came to Sydney and won very easily last Saturday. And I do think Bereska's well placed, coming back to Sydney after a very good run before going to Brisbane in a good form race. And in race 5, number 4, World Alliance is another one that I think is going really well this preparation. Interesting riding switch. James McDonald goes on. Jason Scholtz selected to ride the Flying Bonita Queen. She's trialled well, and there'll be a lot of speed in this race, and I think that sets up very well for World Alliance. Will handle the conditions, gets through the ground really well, and is in really good form this prep. Looks well placed. Even though coming back to 1,000, with all the speed in this race, I think World Alliance is well placed to get home over the top of them. So that's a quick look at Raumick for you, some insights into how we go about doing the form, and things that you should keep in mind when you're doing your form analysis. Good luck.
One of the long-term punters on thegreattipoff.com is Daniel Pryor. He goes under DeepsPunta, if you want to search for him in the search bar. He's had a big July, and he's got some freebies here for you right now.
G'day and giddy up, GTO punters. Daniel Pryor, aka DeepsPunta 18 horse racing tips and selections here from Inglewood, Perth, Western Australia. I follow Eastern States racing, predominantly Victoria and New South Wales, from here in the west on the west coast. Favourite track is Flemington. Bring on the spring. How do I do my form? Well, back in the day, reading of the newspaper fields and form, but these days online, Rezo and RaceNet. Being able to watch race replays and trials on racing.com and Sky Channel, which those 2 channels live on my TV 24/7. The studying of sexual data, along with the understanding of the handicap rating scale, although it's not always about weights and measures. It does help with my race day assessment of the fields, along with learning how to frame my own market, create my own speed map. Has also helped me gain an understanding of potential position in the run and price to bet on. I'm a win punter, so we'll stake according to make a similar profit amount on my tips selections in a race. So looking ahead to the weekend and Saturday, and a tip or 2 or 3, we're in race 4, number 3, Tuileries. Been following since her debut and the 1400 ideal after her last performance. Missile Stakes, race 8, number 1, Private Eye. At first glance, he is the best performed horse in the race. Around $3 will be happy to be on. The Dangers, Robusto, General Salute, and Brunel first up. Moonee Valley, not my favourite track, but we'll go race 3, number 9, Shadhaver. Been following this campaign and improving every run. If it can improve again, this run will definitely play a part in the finish. So a nice enough price there. So there you go, GTO punters. On any given day, you can collect the pay with DeepsPunta 18 horse racing tips and selections. Giddy up.
All right, Mick, that's a wrap for July. We're in August. Exciting times. Before we roll into the close, how long do punters have to wait for All In?
Oh, tell you what, I won't be long away. I think it's
A couple of weeks?
I think it's Wing Stakes, the Monday before Wing Stakes. So
that's week after.
Dino's been he's been up and about. He can't wait. Louis, he just keeps continuing to rise through the ranks down there at Sky. So
Yeah.
be good to have him on. Might make him do a bit more work. He might steer the ship a little bit more and actually do something for once. But he came out of his biggest season, Louis. He was low flying. He hit a flat spot, but last season he was clearly the MVP of the team. Yeah. So be up to Dino and I to steal that title. But yeah, no, looking forward to All In. I'll be back. We'll go all the way through the Spring Carnival. So make sure you are subscribing. And if you don't, well, you're missing out.
Mate, I'm noticing that in sort of Google ranks, Louis' long shots is trending. So
well, that's obviously not him.
That came from All In.
Unbelievable.
Anyhow,
why are you Googling that? I've got no idea.
I don't know. Because
desperate times.
It's on the back of what you just said. He was low flying. So I think that gets punters stirring. So, hey, punters, one thing we want to tell you about, obviously, the greattipoff.com has been a huge website since 2009 with all the tips, results, really from 2009. You want to know if someone's good? Come to thegreattipoff.com, search for their name. It'll show you their results. Of course, it's high time that we had an app, and guess what we now do?
Finally caught up.
Go to your favourite app store. You can go to the Apple App Store, obviously, or the Android App Store. Download. There's links to those app stores here below on the YouTube thread, so look out for those. And, of course, Tipster results, tips as seen on this show. And of course,
We can enter your own tips as well.
you can enter your own tips, earn money. I mean, the amount of money that we pay, actually, you'll find out. If you go to the homepage on the website, you'll see how much money we've paid out.
So, Damo, we've sold plenty of tips on thegreattipoff.com. What's the dollar value up to so far?
So, Mick, we're just looking at the Great Tip-Off. It's $8.74 million tip sold.
Not bad. Not bad
huge.
at all.
And that's there's a lot of happy campers there, Mick. Earning big dollars at the end of the day.
They wouldn't be living in a tent, mate.
No, they wouldn't. Very good, Mick.
That's not bad.
Geez, did you rehearse that?
No.
Okay.
This is the fourth cut, yes.
So, punters, of course, look at the YouTube messages down below. You'll see two links. One to the Apple Store, or the Apple App Store, and the other one, of course, to the Android App Store. You just hit the relevant one, download it, and you got it on your phone forever. It's that simple.
Easy
Great
as you
tip-off.
like. Easy as you like. And make sure you're subscribing. All in, won't be far away. Willoughby, Watling, and myself. And our mate behind the camera, Luke Hovanessian, he's been a little sad. He didn't quite make the leaderboard for the month of July. He was one off.
One off. Does that earn him a place on the show?
Has not. He hasn't spoken a word since, but maybe send Luke your condolences, or you could just get around his tips for the month.
Could you give him a little segment like Luke's? I was thinking of what
Lullabies, no.
Not Luke's losers. That wouldn't be good.
Well, he's flying.
Yeah, so Luke
You just missed out by one.
Let's think of it. Maybe someone can tell us what it should be, and that will be an all-in. Maybe.
Maybe.
I'll let Mick.
Not sure if we'll get into that.
Mick's the producer, the director, and the ultimate.
I'll say the only talent as well. But anyway, that's been Tipster.
go.
See ya.
So, yeah.